I'm an introvert and I network. I don't love it, but I do it because it works. Introvertism is not an excuse not to network, y'all.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. And today I am going to be sharing an amazing spirit with you. Tiffanie Kellog caught my eye when I was at a live event, and this lady knows how to project her brand in a really magnetic way. Tiffanie Kellog is the Sock It to 'em success strategist, and she's been electrifying the entrepreneurial world since 2003. She's known as the speaker in socks, with her signature colorful themed socks on stage and with her passion for empowering others, which I have already experienced firsthand. Tiffanie delivers high energy presentations that inspire audiences to make money, save time, and of course, have fun. As an accomplished author of several books, including the highly anticipated The Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time. Yes, please. Set to hit shelves in 2025, very shortly after the release of this very show. Tiffanie shares actionable insights to help entrepreneurs master referrals and networking, and to achieve remarkable success in their business, reclaim their time to truly enjoy life. And her vibrant style, paired with her gift for turning ideas into e-Tiffanies, which are epiphanies inspired by Tiffanie, as she keeps audiences engaged and eager to take action. Tiffany's journey has taken her across the globe and the internet, working with thousands of entrepreneurs through keynote presentations, interactive workshops, and exclusive programs. And her unique ability to mix strategy with fun ensures that every interaction leaves her clients with the tools and motivations to create real results while enjoying the process. My mission is simple, Tiffanie shares, to help people achieve their dreams, make more money in less time, and have an amazing time doing it. Tiffanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today, Amanda.
I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, I just must ask, what's with the socks? Tell me about that.
So when you see me on stage, I am in, like, this is one of my speaking dresses. I'm wearing my normal speaking outfit, so I look like everybody else. However, I'm usually wearing like knee-high, bright, colorful socks and a coordinating pair of Chucks or Converse, which are the same thing, just called differently. And it really makes me stand out in a crowd. I mean, I'm the only one to my knowledge that is on stage rocking the socks. That's a lady that you can see them. Yeah, I don't know of anybody else doing it. And so it's way more comfortable wearing the low Converse than wearing the heels, and it's memorable. People don't have to see my face to know who I am. They could see me across the room. They see the socks. Tiffany's here.
So good, so good. And I mean, you are clearly very passionate about helping people to succeed in their business and to use their time really, really effectively. I've gotten to experience that firsthand as we've developed our relationship. Genuinely, though, like, why? What's driving your obsession with helping people to not only make more money and have more time, but why the fun? Why is that so important?
Well, it's interesting. I had no intention in my life when I was younger that I was going to be an entrepreneur, that I was going to be a professional speaker or any of that. I actually was going to school to be a genetic researcher. I wanted to do genetic engineering. Like, that was where I wanted to go. And after I figured out what all that would entail, I'm like, nah, business major, yay! So I got my business degree in marketing, and then I went out there and got that first job that had, the salaries and all the fun things. And then in March of 2003, two things happened that dramatically impacted me being here. That job that I had, the board of directors got together, did some restructuring, and guess what was no longer part of the organization? Me. And I was very nicely offered a severance package or demotion. The other thing that happened that month is my mom, who had been battling breast cancer for the previous 17 months, she was given a terminal diagnosis and maybe a couple weeks left to live. And so, like, it so worked out because I took the severance package and it gave me the opportunity to be able to spend each and every single day with my mom. Sometimes I would just crawl into the bed with her. She was at hospice at home and we'd watch TV. occasionally she'd feel good enough to get out, and I was really able to spend that time with her. And it wasn't a few weeks, it was actually a few months. She hung on. We had a huge celebration for her 47th birthday, which is kind of freaking me out this year because I'm 46, so I'm getting ready to next year be older than my mom ever was. It's such a weird mind thing.
Oof.
But so she hung on. We got to spend so much amazing time together. And then I got out after I lost her, and it's like, what am I going to do with my life? I've lost my mom, my best friend. I had lost my job, my career, but I had kind of put that on hold. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? So there was a friend of the family, Jackie, and she would come over and visit at like 10 on a Monday morning or 3 on a Thursday afternoon when everybody else was coming over in the evenings and the weekends because they had that job. And I'm like, ooh. And she's like, I own my own business. So I'm like, I want to be a business owner. So I picked up, moved to Florida, because why not, and started a business at 24. And what I found is just because you have a business doesn't mean you have any business. I had zero business, and I had to spend the next 2 years cold calling. And I don't like it. I'm good at it, but I don't like it. And I got invited to a networking group. It was my very first time, and I walked in, and I'm like, the clouds parted. There was a room full of people to help me grow my business. And I'm like, this is brilliant, because I was working 7 days a week. Get up, work, have breakfast, work, lunch, work, like never ending. I go to sleep, dream about work, and wake up the next day exhausted because I dreamed I worked all night. And when I found networking, it was like, oh my gosh, there's people to pass me referrals. I don't have to do cold calling. This isn't like just sucking my whole life out. And finally, I was able to create that harmony that I looked for when I started my business. Because I didn't go into business to work all the time, and I see entrepreneurs do that so often. But we don't know what's going to happen. For me, I got a few extra months with my mom, and that was brilliant. We all saw that the world can change pretty quickly back in 2020. Let me do this when I'm older. Let me do this when I'm retired. We don't know what's going to happen. And so how do we create that harmony in our life of the work and the play so that we can enjoy every day?
It's absolutely beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing your backstory. You went from being like a cold calling expert to a
Well, I
referral
was good at cold
marketing.
calling. I don't know that I call it an expert, but I was good
Well,
at
you
it.
were good.
I was young and dumb enough to just keep doing it.
Hey, that's what I did in my first business as well. I'm like, phone book, let's
Yes,
go. Starting
literally the
today.
phone.
Yeah. So, younger listeners, there used to be this book. It was full of phone
That's
numbers.
what I was
Fabulous.
just thinking.
I don't mind dating myself. It's fine.
When I started my
I'd
business,
love
there was
to.
no social media. Everybody's like, go talk about it on social media. There was no social media. I was going to the library to check out books to learn how to do this business thing. Old.
Totally, totally. And what a gift it is. I mean, as an expert on referral marketing, what do you see as an opportunity most business owners have that you encounter that, maybe they're doing the referral thing a bit, but there's an opportunity?
So what I find is most entrepreneurs combine and think that networking and referral marketing are the same thing. And they're
Ooh, say
two
more
different
about
things.
that. How are they
Okay.
different?
So when I think of referral marketing, which I truly believe needs to be renamed relationship marketing, because you're not going to get the referrals without the relationship. So to me, relationship marketing is the things that we do after we've met you. Networking is where I go for a lot of different things, but where I go to potentially meet those potential referral partners. Networking is not let me go and sell my stuff, because nobody, it's always funny, when I talk to people, when you go to networking events, how many of you go to buy? No hands raised. How many of you go to sell? And everybody's like, yeah, I want to sell. And I'm like, there's some incongruency here. So we got to straighten that out. So for me, one of my favorite reasons to go networking is to meet those potential referral partners. And I wanted to share that, but that is not what most excites me about answering this question. Here's where I think entrepreneurs make this harder than it has to be. Most entrepreneurs think, who are the hundreds or thousands of people out there that could be passing me referrals? And I'm like, who are the right 4, 6, or 8 that can pass you referrals all day, every day? That's all you need for most of us.
Mm, mm. So when you're looking for one of those people, and you're focusing in, and I love that because I'm a big believer in the Pareto principle, like if you can focus on the things that really do move the dial, you're going to get way outsized results as opposed to getting all your energy diffused by focusing on what doesn't matter or doesn't make a big order of magnitude impact. So talk to me about, how do you identify who your core 4, 6, or 8 referral partners might be? How do you know that that might be a relationship that you want to pursue?
Okay, so there are a number of factors, but let me give you the most important ones. Number one, we have to be the right people in the right professions. Because here's the thing. It's not as much about what you do, but it's about who you serve. And to me, the number one thing, I have to find people that are in a non-competing industry with the same target market. And so a lot of times people will say, Tiffanie, what's the best referral source for insert profession here? And it's really not about that. It's about that ideal client. And so for me, it doesn't matter, if I love you to death, Amanda, and you and I have a very different clientele, we're not going to make the best referral partners. Doesn't mean we can't refer, but there's not as much opportunity. Whereas if you and I serve the same clientele and we're not competing, then almost all of my clients can become your clients and vice versa. And so to me, the number one thing is, are we in those non-competing industries with the same target market? If you're not that, it doesn't mean that you can't have amazing referral sources that don't check that box, but they're not going to be in your top 4, 6, or 8. And I'm saying your top 4, 6, or 8, and that's kind of like your starting lineup. So if I can give your listeners a little to do or will do, I highly encourage people to make a list of the names, not professions, not industries, not companies, the names of their top 12 referral sources. That's going to be that's kind of our full team that we want to pick our top 4, 6, or 8 through.
I love that. And, dear listener, if you are just like starting out, this is reminding me of when I very first started my business. I was not good at friendly yet. And it's not because I was a jerk. It was just that I had a lot of conditioning around being an introvert and, being a little captain laptop. And, I still kind of am a little bit, but I did learn some social skills. So that's good news.
So can we talk about being an introvert and networking?
1,000,000%. And what I was going to say is, if you're very, very first starting out, you might not have a list of the referral partners yet, but you for sure have champions and you have people that do like you. Start with just talking to them. So back over to you. Let's talk about introvertism and networking.
I'm an introvert and I network. I don't love it, but I do it because it works. Introvertism is not an excuse not to network, y'all. I actually find introverts can be better at networking because it's not a fun game. It's not fun insofar as we're just getting to connect. You just have to have an intention. In my first book, 4.5 Networking Mistakes, these are the things that the experts tell you to do that you shouldn't do. I talk a little bit about the fact of you could have a tag team networking partner. So you go with somebody, you spend the entire time with them. You don't talk about yourself, they do, and vice versa. And so you're networking together the whole time. So I usually like to grab an extrovert to be my partner. So then I make them introduced to all the strangers because I don't want to go talk to strangers, but they do. And I'll keep us focused and on task and getting done what we need to get done.
I love that. I was like, it's like you're using an extrovert as a human shield, it's just like.
Yeah, I am totally like, you use your energy. I'm going to let you do maybe not a shield, but it's a good power partnership.
Yeah, that's so good.
We're working on each other's strengths. And what I find and I love about tag team networking is almost everybody prefers to promote other people more than talk about themselves. The narcissists want to talk about themselves, but for the majority of people, they would much rather promote an amazing person. Like, let me tell you about Amanda versus let me tell you about me.
My God. I mean, you got the whole idea behind my show, right? It's the Amanda Kaufman Show, but I do have solo episodes and majority of them are actually promoting other people and having the conversation with other people. So you're so right about that. Amen. So good. So talk to us about this new book. You're going to, so first of all, congratulations on another book. That is really, really, really exciting. So what's inspired you with this new book and what can we look forward to when it's released?
So I'm going to take us back a little bit further, if that's okay. I've been training on referral and networking marketing for 2+ decades. However, a common complaint that I heard from my clients was, how do I find the time to go to the networking events? If I'm doing relationship marketing, it takes time because you have to pour into a relationship. where do we find the time? So it was 2017. I finally took all my tips out of my brain and created a 13-week program. It used to be called 13 months a year because you get 13 extra hours a week times 52 weeks is like 676, which is 28 days, so it's a February. But that's a very long explanation and crazy. So to simplify, we have turned it into the Entrepreneur's Guide to More Free Time. And so I've taken all of the content I've worked and fine-tuned over the past 8 years and then put it pen to paper or typing, but pen to paper sounds better. Pen to paper and got it done. And so this book is meant to be a guide for entrepreneurs, not insofar as you have to go step by step to get there, but here are the adventures that you can go on. Here's all the different ways that you can save time. Because for me, as I mentioned earlier, I shared, here's why I do what I do. We don't know what time we have with people, and I want to make sure that I'm making the most of it. And so my hope is, can I free up more time for the entrepreneurs out there? Even if it's just a few minutes to spend with your kids or your partner or your parents or your spouse or your fur babies if you're like me, whatever it may be, like, we want to enjoy life. And I don't believe that balance is long-term feasible. Sometimes I'll make people stand and balance. The average adult can only balance for about 45 seconds. And why are we trying to create a life of balance if it's hard? And so for me, it's about creating the harmony of loving what I do, loving what I do for fun as well, weaving them together, and just living a life where it's not like, what do I have to do at work today? It's like, I can't wait. I'm super excited. I get to talk to Amanda today. I get to do these fun things and just really loving and enjoying life.
Love it. I don't know an entrepreneur that didn't get into it because, I'm double negativing all over the place, but every entrepreneur that I know did so for freedom reasons. It was like freedom for like how to contribute, or freedom to create, or freedom of time, or freedom of money, or all of the above, freedom of location. Like there's a lot of reasons why people choose this. And, I really do share your mortality motivation of like, we don't know. And, we all have our reasons for not knowing. But I think, that whole autopilot thing, living the same year over and over and over again. And, maybe someday I'll do something that I actually like. Or maybe someday I'll finally, take on that project that's going to unlock that financial freedom. And that maybe someday thinking, I think it really gets people into trouble, doesn't it?
It does, because then the someday doesn't come, or other things come up or whatnot. And it's like, well, I always wanted to. And like, I get you got to pay the bills. You got to pay the mortgage. You got to put food on the table. You have to be responsible for the future. But how can we make the most of it each and every day?
So beautiful. Tiffanie, what's the best way for people to connect with you and find out what's next?
So because I'm of that age of the first generation of social media, I am easy to find because my name is spelled a little funky. So Tiffanie, Tiffanie, Kellog, Kellog. I've got the website, tiffaniekellog.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. No, not even Twitter. No, not Twitter. Instagram, YouTube. It's all Tiffanie Kellog. Makes it easy to find. And you can find me on Amazon as well. I think I'm still the only one there too.
Love it. I love it. And by the way, dear listener, we've got the show notes with all of Tiffanie's links so that it's really easy for you to follow her and find out what's next. Tiffanie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so very much. And I know it was like such a great timing since the book is out and free this week to be able to be here and share that. So I so appreciate you letting me share that and share some thoughts on referral and relationship marketing.
I love it. So useful. And in fact, before you go, dear listener, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss another episode. And also, I am certain there's someone in your network, maybe 2 or 3 someone's in your network, who would really love to hear some of the things that Tiffanie shared on today's show. So go ahead and grab the link to the episode, however you happen to be listening or watching, and send it over on text, on mail, on carrier pigeon, but be sure to share it with your friends so that they get the benefit of this conversation. And finally, if you've been loving the show and we've made a positive difference in your life, we would love it if you would take a moment to, wherever you're listening, share a positive review. It could just be a comment down below, or it could be an official review on Apple or Spotify. We really appreciate it because it helps new listeners decide whether they're going to spend some time with us. And that is a huge way that you can give back for the remarkable price of 2 minutes of your time. So thank you so, so much for doing this and being here with us. And until the next episode, be sure to do what matters.